On a night bus starting at 8 o'clock in La Paz, I drove all night with my travel companion at this part of the journey, Alex, that I met from the Nomad cruise. And we came here to this small town this morning at 20 minutes past 5. And even though La Paz is very high, it's the highest capital in the world, this is even higher. So you might hear me short of breath sometimes, and this is because the air is still very thin. This is where the next part of the adventure starts. We're going on a tour to the Salt Flats, and wow, this is going to be amazing. The tour starts at 10:30. It's 10 o'clock right now, and thank God, just across the street from where the tour starts, at the tour operator's office, there's a cafe that opens at 4 o'clock in the morning. I think they know that a lot of tourists come in on the bus from La Paz very, very early in the morning, so they have opened, and it was packed with backpackers from all over, and had a nice breakfast, and opened up my computer and did a lot of editing. So I've been very busy and very active on editing yet another episode of the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Yes, today we're in Southern Bolivia for this leg of my South American journey in one of the most remarkable landscapes on Earth. We're in Uyuni Salt Flats. My name is Palabo, and this is the Radio Vagabond.
The ultimate destination for armchair travelers who are looking for inspiration to get out into the real world and let loose their wanderlust. This is the Radio Vagabond.
Almost 5,000.
What's the altitude right now?
The exact altitude is 3,000.
A little bit like La Paz.
63. Yes.
I was expecting it to be much more cold here.
Wait for tonight.
I said something wrong. Well, sort of. That La Paz is the highest capital in the world. That's not 100% accurate. It is high, sitting at an altitude of approximately 3,650 meters, almost 12,000 feet above sea level, but it's not the capital. The official capital of Bolivia is, in fact, Sucre. But it's a common mistake. I just watched a travel documentary from the BBC with the highly respectable Simon Reeves, and he said the same thing, so I don't feel too bad about it. Here's the thing, La Paz is often referred to as the administrative capital, and it's home to most of the government offices and institutions. Sucre, on the other hand, is located in the southeastern part of Bolivia and is known for its well-preserved colonial architecture, which has earned it the recognition as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Sucre played a crucial role in Bolivia's fight for independence from the Spanish colonial rule and was named after Antonio José de Sucre, one of the leaders in the independence movement.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels and guest houses and hostels around the world. Hotels25.com.
Backpack in the car?
We head towards the first stop, the train cemetery, to see some of the first locomotives in Bolivia. This train graveyard, locally known as Cementerio de Trenes, is a fascinating and kind of eerie attraction located just outside the town of Uyuni.
We are standing right now on the second line ever built in Bolivia. This was in 1889. The first one was in 1888, the 1 year before.
It's a place where old, rusty locomotives and railcars from the late 19th and early 20th century have been left to deteriorate and slowly decay in the harsh, arid landscape of the Bolivian Altiplano.
We used to have a very big train system in Bolivia, but in 1994 it was privatized to a Chilean company, and we don't have good relations with Chile. Yeah. So the Chilean company started cutting lines.
It's a surreal and somewhat post-apocalyptic site. The landscape is dotted with lots of locomotives and train carriages that have been abandoned and now covered in rust and graffiti.
Just don't stop. Don't care about that stuff.
Otherwise, build a wall. I hear that so far. And make the children pay for it.
The trains vary in size and type, from the massive steam locomotives to the smaller railcars. The rusted metal and harsh, dry climate of the region gives the place a desolate and otherworldly atmosphere. The colorful graffiti on some of the trains add a touch of urban art to the otherwise industrial and decrepit scenery. The trains are often covered in a layer of salt due to the nearby salt flats of Uyuni, and the salt can have an impact on the trains here in terms of accelerating rust and corrosion.
David, you're our tour guide, and the first stop you've taken us to, this is old train cemetery?
It's an old train cemetery. It's been here for almost 70 years so far. And, well, it was planned to be melted down, but now it's only as an attraction. And as you can see, it's a very nice place to be.
Yeah.
There are projects for making parties around this place because it's nice. It's like a Western look, very old, very...
Yeah, there are a lot of old, rusty trains here.
Yeah, well, it's because of the salt.
Oh, obviously, because we're close to the salt flat. Yeah, obviously. But this is also a tourist attraction now.
Yes. Not only tourist attraction, many of the locals have come here. As you can see, most of the parts of the engine has been cutted.
Yeah.
And, most of the iron that is taken from this machine has been sold or used as tools. You're going to see that later. Many of the ancient tools were used to extract the salt from the salt flats were made out of train parts.
Awesome.
Let's look in the history book.
As mentioned, the train cemetery has its origin from the late 1800s when Bolivia was attempting to develop a railroad network to connect the various parts of the country. Uyuni was an important railway junction as the transportation hub for the mining industry in the region. But the collapse of this industry and the decline of railroads in the mid-20th century, many locomotives and railcars were simply abandoned in this area. Over time, the train cemetery has become a popular tourist attraction, drawing visitors from around the world. It's also become a hotspot for photographers and Instagrammers taking selfies. We like the unique and eerie ambience, and the rusted trains and the surrounding landscapes provide a surreal backdrop for creative photography. In recent years, efforts have been made to preserve some of the trains and protect them from further deterioration, as they represent a unique part of Bolivia's industrial and transportation history. The train cemetery is a captivating and haunting place that offers a glimpse into Bolivia's past. A perfect add-on to your visit to the Salt Flats, and that's where we're going now.
You're going to see a lot of deserts, but different type of deserts. We're going to see white deserts, colored deserts, the highest desert in South America. And, well, no, I don't know if you have heard about Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
He was never here, but we're going to find a very remarkable desert named after him because it looks a lot like his paintings.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That's going to be the third day, though.
Yeah.
You have to wait for that.
Yeah.
My name's Bond.
Radio Vagabond.
We're heading to one of Mother Earth's most surreal and breathtaking wonders, Salar de Uyuni, also known as the Uyuni Salt Flats, here in the southwestern corner of Bolivia near the crest of the Andes. 10,000 square kilometers, 4,000 square miles of salt flats. It's about as big as the largest of the main Hawaiian islands, about twice as big as the Grand Canyon National Park, about 4 times as big as Cape Town, about the size of the Gambia, or about 950 times as big as Dublin International Airport. Okay, I'll stop now. What I'm trying to say, it's huge. It's the largest salt flats in the world, and it's said that it can be seen from the moon. But why would you? It's much more interesting to see up close. But the vastness is just the beginning.
Nice and warm inside the car.
Let me see your tattoo.
It's truly one of the most remarkable landscapes on this planet. Here in the tropics, the rainy season is roughly from November to April, and there's a few inches of water in the completely level flats. When it's dry, the salt flats are completely white with pure, blinding white salt. I'm here in the rainy season, which means that there's a thin layer of water covering the salt crust. It creates a seamless reflection of the sky above, and the boundary between the heavens and the earth becomes blurred as clouds, sunsets, even bodies are duplicated in the salt flats' mirror-like surface. With only a few inches of water, that means that we can drive and walk through it. Just a few inches of water as far as the eye can see, which is completely still and creates this mirror-like effect unlike anything I've ever seen before. The Salar de Uyuni wasn't always a pristine expanse of salt. Its origins are as fascinating as its appearance. Millions of years ago, it was a massive prehistoric lake known as Lake Minchin. Over eons, it gradually transformed into the salt flats we see today. The salt crust is composed of mainly sodium chloride, basically table salt, making it a valuable resource for the region's economy. In places, the salt crust beneath us is up to 10 meters deep. It's said to be 10 billion tons of natrium chloride here. That's a lot of salt for your fries. David and our driver set up a small table with some plastic chairs in the middle of all this, and with our feet in the salty water, we had a wonderful and surreal lunch. After lunch, I walked around myself for 15 to 20 minutes. The vastness of the landscape and its eerie silence created a sense of peaceful isolation. There's a meditative quality to this place, a reminder of how insignificant our everyday worries can seem in the grand scheme of the universe.
If you've been listening for a while, you know a thing or two about Palebo. And now, he would like to know a bit about you. So please fill out the 5-minute survey and answer a few questions. It's on theradiovagabond.com/whoareyou.
In addition to the stunning landscapes, the salt flats also feature salt hotels. The walls, floors, or even some of the furniture in these hotels are made entirely out of salt. They're surrounded by salt, so it's a readily available and inexpensive building material here, making it an ideal choice for constructing these eco-friendly hotels. And when the hotels are no longer in use or need repair, the salt can just be returned to the salt flats, leaving little trace behind. The hotels often feature intricate and creative salt-based designs, including salt sculptures and carvings that add to the overall aesthetic appeal. Some rooms may have salt beds, salt tables, and salt chairs, offering guests a truly immersive experience. So if you're having lunch here, you can just scratch the walls to get some salt for your food. Exploring the salt flats is an adventure like no other. It's a photographer's dream come true, where every angle reveals a new perspective. Like many other travelers, we, or rather our guides, brought props like bottles and miniature figurines of plastic dinosaurs to create whimsical optical illusions, making it seem as though they're giants in a land of small people. I found the whole thing a bit silly, but it's a surreal playground that encourages creativity and invites you to play with perspective, resulting in some captivating and sometimes mind-bending photographs.
If travel is your passion and you want escapism while still upholding your work and family responsibilities, you can travel vicariously from the comfort of your own home. This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast.
As the night falls, the Salar de Uyuni takes on a new personality. The colors of the sunset were nothing less than spectacular, and by far the most amazing sunset I've ever witnessed in my life. Again, we went nuts with taking pictures and videos. See many of those on theradiovagabond.com and on Radio Vagabond on Instagram. And at night, the salt flats becomes a natural mirror for the stars above, turning the world upside down again. The sky is painted with countless celestial bodies, and the reflection on the thin layer of water seems like a glimpse into the cosmos itself. Stargazers flock to this remote corner of Bolivia to witness this spectacle. The next morning over breakfast, I asked the other people in this little group to put some words into what we've seen.
Here I am with the group. Gather around closer. We went to the train cemetery. What happened after that?
We drove a few hours and we went to this beautiful salt flats, and I think it's the largest one in the world. And what we saw when we got there was awe-inspiring. You can't put it into words because you have to see it with your own eyes. Mirror reflections of the clouds on the water, and it was just the most spectacular view I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was just like one gigantic mirror as far as the eye could see, and then we had lunch.
It was probably the best view ever. It was a feast because we had a big bowl of salad, and I think it was grilled lamb or something like that. And after this we had ice cream too. It was probably the best lunch ever.
Yeah, and they set up these tiny plastic chairs and a small table in the water. It's like a few inches of water, and we were just sitting there with our feet in the water and having this lunch. And yeah, and then I broke a chair. We're not going to mention that. And I was sitting on this chair taking photos, and all of a sudden they said, and everybody just said, "Your camera! No, and then we drove a little bit more, and then we took some amazing photos and tried to do.
It was stunningly beautiful, and the sunset was the most amazing.
Yeah.
It was great. You have to take the pictures, though, the perspective pictures, and the one with the time lapse. Really great.
Yeah, can you explain why is the perspective pictures?
Because it looks like you can make it look like toys are eating you, or people are standing on your shoulders, or we did Darwin's evolution. We did many different things. It was really cool.
And we ended up at the sunset at 7:00. The most beautiful sunset I'd ever seen in my life, and we took some more pictures, and it was jaw-dropping. You have to go to the radiovagabond.com to see these photos because it's so hard to describe. And now, second day.
Second day.
Do it.
Thank you.
Have you ever wondered what the places in this podcast actually look like? I have. So, I started following the Radio Vagabond on Instagram, simply by searching Radio Vagabond.
We're in Bolivia, a country smack in the middle of South America. But what else should we know about it? Let's look into it.
And now, facts about where we are.
How big and how many people?
Bolivia is one of the largest countries in South America, covering an area of approximately 1.1 million square kilometers, 424,000 square miles, and has a population of around 11.5 million people. It's known for its diverse mix of ethnic groups, including indigenous people, mestizos, and people of European descent.
Official languages.
The official languages of Bolivia are Spanish and indigenous languages. Spanish is by far the dominant language and is spoken by the majority of the population.
Religion.
Bolivia is predominantly a Roman Catholic country, with a significant Catholic population, but it also has a blend of indigenous Andean beliefs, and many people practice a mix of Catholicism and elements of traditional indigenous spirituality.
The flag.
Looking at their flag, you will see 3 horizontal stripes, red at the top, yellow in the middle, and green at the bottom. The red represents Bolivia's brave soldiers, the yellow symbolizes Bolivia's mineral resources and wealth, and the green represents the country's rich vegetation and fertility. So basically blood, gold, and plants. In the center of the yellow stripe, there's the Bolivian national coat of arms. The coat of arms feature a condor, a mountain, and the sun rising over a body of water. Bolivia's scenic beauty and natural resources.
What's the typical local food?
Bolivia's cuisine is diverse and includes unique dishes like salteñas, a type of savory pastry, anticucos, grilled skewers often made from beef heart, and llama meat prepared in various ways.
What's a typical local beer?
Bolivia has a growing craft beer scene, and there are several local breweries producing a variety of unique and flavorful beers. Popular beers include Huari, Paceña, and Saya beer. These beers often incorporate traditional Bolivian ingredients and flavors.
Famous proverb from here.
El que mucho abarca poco aprieta. He who tries to grab too much holds too little. This emphasizes the importance of focus and not spreading oneself too thin. And el que es buen gallo, donde quiera canta. A good rooster crows where it is. This encourages people to showcase their talents and abilities wherever they go.
And that was Facts About Where We Are. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
The next morning we continued our trip to the southwestern part of the country, nearer to the border of Chile. First we drive through the high flats and then into the high Andes and the Siloli Desert, being between 4,500 and 4,700 meters above sea level, is the highest desert in South America.
Wow. Lunch again. Got another chair I can break?
Yeah. Yeah, we brought two.
At the lake called Laguna Cara, we make a stop and I ask David to tell me more.
Yesterday we had lunch in the middle of the salt flats with our feet in the water, and today, well, where are we?
Yeah, we are in the middle of the Siloli Desert, the highest desert of South America.
Can you say that again? The
Siloli.
Siloli.
Yes, Siloli.
Yeah.
The Siloli Desert.
I think we drove so far on small dirt roads, and then at some point we were just in the middle of the field, and there's nothing here. I think I saw two signs, one saying in the middle of nowhere,
you're lost.
and one saying you're lost.
Yes.
But it's so beautiful here, and there's a lake right here, and the mountains has a backdrop.
This is the Cara Lagoon, one of the 3 lagoons that we have in this area. This area is called the High Andes.
After Cara Lake, we continue a bit south to another high-altitude lake called Laguna Colorada. It's another one of Bolivia's most captivating natural wonders. Laguna Colorada, or the Red Lagoon, gets its name from the striking red color, which is a result of the high concentration of minerals in the water. The lake's red color is mostly visible during the dry season when the water level is lower, but we could definitely see it.
We're in the middle of the chain of mountains right now. We left the high flats, and we're going to enter right now. The highest desert in South America goes around 4,700, 4,500. The places we're going to be. But the mountains reach easily the 6,000 meters above sea level.
How high are we right now?
Right now, 4,500 meters. Yeah. It's not the highest one.
No, we're
Sorry
going
to tell you
even
that.
higher. And we just walked down to the lake to get closer to the flamingos. And it was a short walk, and I strolled nice and easy, but I was so out of breath.
Yep, it happens. Even people from here, I am catching my breath right now because it's really hard to breathe.
Yeah. One of the most iconic features of Laguna Colorada is its resident population of flamingos. The lake is home to 3 different species of flamingos, and these elegant birds are attracted to the lake's rich ecosystem, and the contrast of the red waters against the pink flamingos creates a stunning sight. Laguna Colorada's surreal, almost otherworldly appearance, along with its flamingo population, makes it a must-visit for nature enthusiasts and photographers exploring the stunning landscapes of southwestern Bolivia. It truly looks surreal, and the rainbow that appeared when I took a photo of this colorful lake made it even more stunning.
One thing that I noticed that you and our driver Ronald are doing, you're chewing cocoa leaves.
Yes, it's called pichar. It's what you usually do It's take the main stem of coca leaf and leave the coca chew a little bit. You don't have to swallow it.
No.
Just make a small pasta and then put it in your cheek. That helps you
with the altitude.
With the altitude sickness.
Yeah.
Yes.
The coca leaves, that's what they used to make cocaine out of.
Yes. But let me tell you this data. You need 1 ton of fresh coca leaf, because these ones are dry. Of fresh coca leaf to make 1 kilogram of cocaine.
Okay.
So it's impossible.
Okay.
Almost impossible.
So you're not high?
Not at all.
I'm kind of glad to hear that. Okay.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Radio Vagabond podcast. If you're curious about his looks, check out the Radio Vagabond on TikTok or Instagram. Just remember what curiosity did to the cat.
We spent the night at Simple Mountain Lodge, just south of the lake. And when they call it simple, they weren't kidding. It's a rustic, modest, and simple lodge designed to blend in with the natural surroundings. The lodge's exterior is constructed from local minerals, including stone and adobe, giving it an earthy and traditional appearance. It's a low-rise building that doesn't stand out in the dramatic backdrop of the high Andes. The roof is made of rusty metal and natural materials to withstand the extreme weather conditions. The lodge is situated in a picturesque location and surrounded by barren, windswept terrain, adding to its isolation and rugged charm. It offers a limited number of rooms with simple furnishing, rooms with basic beds, and with a cold temperature at this high-altitude location, the lodge provided us with heavy blankets to combat the cold. The entire group was in a shared bedroom, and we also had a shared bathroom with cold water showers. We only had 2 hours of electricity from a generator behind the building, and we were able to buy half an hour of slow Wi-Fi. Overall, the focus here is providing simple shelter to travelers in an extreme and beautiful environment. And we didn't get to sleep long because we had to get up before 5 a.m. the next morning for yet another cool experience on the last day. But before we get to that, something happened when I was finally able to get online for a short while when we were up in the mountains.
Okay, I need to tell you what happened at high up in the Andes Mountains, where I was able to get online for the first time since the trip started. I thought for sure there was going to be some kind of internet Wi-Fi at the places we were staying, but I was completely offline since we left Uyuni and started this trip. And that shouldn't be a problem, but here's the thing. You know, I'm traveling most of the time alone, and I remember at some point I was in the early days of my journey. I was maybe a year and a half into it. I was in the Bahamas and was staying by myself in an Airbnb, and I came out of the shower and I nearly slipped on the wet floor in the bathroom. And that's where I thought, oh my God, if I had fallen here and knocked myself unconscious, it's not like it's likely, but it's not like it's totally 100% unlikely. I would have been on that bathroom floor for weeks because none of my friends and family know where I am. So they would have no idea how to find me or who to contact. So that made me think, okay, maybe it's better that I just have a Facebook Messenger group with the people I speak to on a regular basis. And I made this group chat and I said, mute this conversation, everybody. I named the chat just in case. And ever since then, I've written the contact details of the Airbnb or the place I'm staying. Here's the phone number. Here's the link to the blah, blah, blah. So they would be able to do something if they all of a sudden couldn't get in touch with me. In this case, I forgot. I went on this trip and I thought nothing of it because I thought I was going to be online. And then panic started spreading in this group. I had these friends and family that I speak to all the time. But since I didn't respond to the messages, they thought, oh my God, he's traveling around somewhere in Bolivia, or maybe even they didn't know that I was in Bolivia, but they couldn't reach me, and they started freaking out. So one of my friends in the group, he started contacting my kids and my sisters and saying, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? And they were freaking out. And I'm laughing now in retrospect because it was kind of embarrassing that I forgot to write it in there. So that's what happened when I finally was able to get online in this bad Wi-Fi for half an hour at a very costly price. My phone just said bing, 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 and so many messages came in from them saying, oh, please let us know that you're okay. Let us know that you're okay. So, yeah, I have the messenger group called Just In Case, but I need to remember to write where I am. Yeah, so if you're traveling alone, make a group, share where you are, and try to remember it.
Picture yourself waking up in the high Andes very early in the morning. The air is pure and crisp, and the world around you is serene. After a short drive further south, we were greeted by the breathtaking sight of Laguna Salada. Their still waters reflect the early morning sky with hues of orange, pink, and gold.
This place, we are at the highest point right now of the road. It's very inhospitable. It looks like a different world.
We're at 4,700?
900
900 now.
Right now.
And to describe it, fume is coming up. It's geysers.
Yes, and this place is from what people think. Well, NASA brought its rovers to test them here.
Because this looks a lot like
Mars. You have a moon up. Everything's steamy, smelly.
It looks like what I would imagine Mars would look like, except I don't know about the water part, but this is insane. And it's super early in the morning. You had us get up before 5, and now it's is it 6 now?
6.
Yeah, okay. 6 and the sun is about to rise, and a lot of people here already, and this is just unbelievable.
Amazing.
These remarkable geysers are natural wonders that erupt with bursts of steam and hot water, putting on a mesmerizing show. The geysers add an exciting element to our morning as we watch them spout their steam into the crisp air. We make our way to Termas de Pulques at Laguna Salada, the natural hot springs with a pool of steaming natural thermal water. The steam gently rises from these geothermal pools, creating a mystic ambience. As we're in the water, we can watch the rocky formations and the rugged beauty of the Andes as the sun is rising. These pools offer a soothing warmth that's especially inviting on a chilly morning like this one. After soaking, we had a light breakfast before getting back in the 4x4. Sipping hot coffee while taking in the panoramic views is a fantastic way to start the last day on this trip in perfect harmony with the natural world. As we're heading down the mountain, I can feel that we've been in the high altitude for a while, and I feel a bit of altitude sickness. I start feeling a bit off. I get a pounding headache that feels like a tight band around my head. This is quite common in high altitudes, I was told. I feel tired. I thought it was because I only had a few hours of sleep and I had to sleep without my sleep apnea mask because there was no electricity. But I also felt a bit weak, making even a simple task like walking 30 meters to the car feel exhausting and made me out of breath. And a bit of dizziness or lightheadedness, making it difficult to keep my balance. It helped sitting still in the car as we were ascending from the mountains and drink plenty of water. At the end of the trip, the car was driving back to Uyuni, but we asked to be dropped off at the border to Chile and continue our South American journey that way. It was truly 3 remarkable days in this picturesque part of the world. Remember to check out the pictures on theradiovagabond.com and on Instagram. find links to both in the notes section of your podcast app. And while you're there, please give this podcast a review. Now, a poem written and read by an AI.
In the land of Southern Bolivia, where dreams unfurl, a tale told on the radio vagabonds whirl. First, they strolled to the train cemetery's gate, where old locomotives met a rusty, grim fate. Then they ventured forth to a wonder untold, where Mother Earth's secrets in beauty unfold. Salar de Uyuni, the salt flats so wide, a mirror-like canvas, reflecting with pride. Creative photos, a dinosaur's playful attack, as the sun dipped below, never looking back. Colors of sunset, a sight so divine, painting the heavens, as they roamed the salt line. The journey continued, the high Andes in sight, a Martian landscape, bathed in red light. Laguna Colorada, a lake painted bold, pink flamingos danced on shores of crimson gold. In high altitudes, where the air is so thin, they took a thermal bath, a new day to begin. Geysers erupted, a morning's delight, in the heart of the Andes, a mesmerizing sight. A journey so splendid, a bucket list feat, in the passion of travel, an adventure complete. As the episode ends, in our hearts it shall stay, the Radio Vagabonds tales, in our minds, will play.
My name is Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See you.
Radio Vagabond! Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk